So we're going to be playing on Dragonshire this evening, and Dragonshire is a, a very, very competitive map because there's very aggressive rotations. There's lots of team fights that break out, especially because of the middle area. And Dragonshire is normally played in such a way of a 1-4 split. Well, with 3 lanes, you might be thinking, why 1-4? 1-4 is used because of the fact that you basically can rotate down to the bottom lane and mid lanes very, very quickly, and it nets you very easy rotations, especially if you are fighting a team that does not have good wave clear. If they don't have wave clear, you basically are applying pressure on both lanes constantly. And if they don't have good wave clear and they have someone sitting in one lane body soaking, then you essentially could pick them off or get a kill 4v3. So normally you have a very strong top laner, and so we're already off, and Abathurs have decided to ban Illidan. Illidan is extremely strong. He was slightly toned down, but nonetheless, he is still very strong. So the counter ban from Team Banana Bread was Zug. Zug is pretty much the premier solo laner. But what's really interesting here is that they've essentially decided to pick up Zul, great laner, in Abathur. Abathur is interesting because they went for him immediately. Abathur is going to be a pain in everyone's ass thanks to his mines. His mines are just going to be able to gain vision wherever he places them, and because there's so much brush there, it's going to provide so much value, especially for lane rotations. If they want to purposely delay the other team's rotation, Abathur will do a great job at that. And so the counter picks here that have come up are Lunara and Johanna. Johanna is a great wave clear. That's why you'll often see her on maps where people want to focus on lane clearing. And so Lunara is also a pretty good follow-up, especially once she gets her Vinewood Spear. Her Vinewood Spear is usually the favored of the two ults, and it really helps clear creeps very, very easily. So the combination of Johanna and Lunara can basically clear a lane together easily. Now, what'll be interesting is in a map like Dragonshire, Abathur often doesn't have the opportunity to body soak without anyone coming there, because there's a top shrine and a bottom shrine that are contested, and because they're contested, there's very little time for someone to not be there. You always want to have someone there to generally contest or grab it. The only time you won't see that happen is if there's something like a 4v5 or 4v4. In the case of Team Banana Bread, it would be a 4v5. And because of that situation, that's really the only time Abathur, I believe, will get a lot of value here, especially because it's very easy to push back an Abathur lane. Abathur is not a very good lane pusher unless unattended. So the picks we're seeing now are Tyrande and Kel'Thas. Kel'Thas just received some buffs. I don't know if he's at a point that is healthy enough to consider him a meta pick, but he's definitely not a trash can or same trash can status. So Kel'Thas is going to be able to apply some additional poke, another stun, and what's interesting is that they're going to have a solo healer of Tyrande, but they're only going to have pretty much 4 people in a fight, except for Ultimate Evolution, unless they pick up Monstrosity here on Dragonshire, which I don't believe is going to have a whole lot of value. So Abathurs have just snatched up Malfurion, which at this point, Tyrande, I don't think is going to be able to cope very well with the situation of she's not going to cope very well with the situation of all that poison damage. Sorry, I'm just actually updating the drafting screen. I realized that I'm using the observer link, which, although nice, doesn't have the full body. So they're still taking their time. They still got plenty of time, and they have finally decided on Vala. Vala will be their last and final damage dealer. So Abathurs have a very, very good wave clear. Malfurion with Moonburn can help you clear lanes. Li Ming does a decent job clearing. She's not the worst, and she's not the best. Vala will burn through a lot of mana to do so, but she'll also have Malfurion now to combo with her. So what I'd expect to see is probably Lunara or Li Ming top, Johanna, Malfurion, Vala, even Vala could go top, but I'd expect Vala to stick with Malfurion just to pump her full of mana. Okay, I figured out why my draft screens are slightly incorrect. I'll need to fix that later. But for now, so the final pick was Diablo. Diablo, in this case, will provide some value. If they can catch out Lunara, Diablo, Kael'thas, Zul, Tyrande, they can all blow her up. Now, if I'm going to have to choose a winner right here, it's going to be straight up the Abathurs. Arthritic Abathurs have this match in the bag on the comp, at least to me. Now, the execution is obviously going to be key, but I believe they have superior wave clear. But Team Banana Bread does not have such drastically inferior wave clear that it's going to be an issue. Azul and Kael'thas will do plenty of good and plenty of wave clear in comparison to Abathurs. They won't be able to push as hard, I believe, just because of the comp. But nonetheless, they'll do perfectly fine. So, for you guys watching, who would you pick of these two teams if you had to be betting on one of them? So what I expect to see, like I said, is Vala to stick with Malfurion, which will leave Lunara or Li Ming to go top. For Dragonshire, I expect for Team Banana Bread to have Zul or potentially Kael'thas go top. The Team Banana Bread could easily get a lot of ganks here with their composition. It's a much superior team ganking comp. So for the Arthritic Abathurs, we have Betty on Johanna, Night on Malfurion. We have Belkrum on Vala, Dozander on Lunara. Sorry, Dozander on Lunara. And finally for Li Ming, we have Shiz. On Team Banana Bread, we got Doggenstein on Abathur, Courser on Kael'thas, Flashlight on Zul, Strat on Tyrande, and finally Bomber Dog on Diablo. So we're going to have a little bit of a push party out the gate. Team Banana Bread just positioned way faster. But this is going to be one dead Li Ming immediately. Very, very nicely done from Team Banana Bread. So that was where I briefly mentioned they have a superior gank. The Zul root, the Tyrande stun. I mean, there's just stuns everywhere. Everyone has a stun of some sort, some way to lock them down. So as I was saying, Flashlight will be going top to clear this lane. And they're actually body soaking with Abathur mid, which is an interesting choice because he's not going to really do a whole lot there, but he's not really going to do a whole lot, I believe, in any lane solo. So they have to put him either mid or bottom, which is actually, right now you can see that for Arthritic Abathurs, they're not actually doing 4-man rotation. They do have Lunara and Johanna together, but we're going to see a very, very nice rotation coming on down. Bomber Dog coming on in, and that's one deadly Ming again. So the execution here from Team Banana Bread has been very, very good so far. And they're just going to get their very first DK 1 minute 30 seconds into the game, and Vala going down pretty much immediately. So that combo of Night Knight and Vala did indeed occur, but the problem is Arthritic Abathurs are not doing the rotations correctly for this map, and so they're being completely outplayed right now. The problem here is that when you have a 3-man gank squad, or technically in the beginning a 4-man gank squad, you're not going to go and beat them as top alone. So pulling up the traits in the meantime, our talents, we got Reinforce. I'm just going to flat out say this is absolutely, positively the wrong talent to pick at this second. Li Ming, though, taking a boatload of damage and Strat finishing him off again. So Li Ming already 3 deaths. So Li Ming needs to start playing significantly safer right now, because there's really no reason to be caught out like that, especially when you're underneath your fort. But at this point, this has just been a train of pain coming out from Team Banana Bread. So Li Ming needs to start playing significantly safer right now, because there's really no reason to be caught out like that, especially when you're underneath your fort. But at this point, this has just been a train of pain coming out from Team Banana Bread. I mean, banana bread is delicious, and they're showing the superiority of why all bread should be banana bread. So going through the rest of these talents we got Laws of Hope, Astral Presence, Dominance, which received a slight nerf, if I recall correctly, from 25% down to 20. Natural Perspective, Nimble Wisp, Rancor, Manticore, Shando's Clarity, and Ramping Growth. So a very nice job coming out from Team Banana Bread. I just want to note they stole those Siege Golems, which applies more pressure, makes Arthritic Abathurs focus on actually taking them out rather than clearing lanes and continuing to try and push back. So despite their essentially man down advantage, or their being a man down due to Abathur, they're just completely dominating just due to all the rotations that they're actually doing. And so looking over, we got Tyrande going Owl build, which makes a lot of sense. She picked up Lunar Blaze, which was nerfed a while back when it was reduced slightly the range on that. Diablo is getting very, very aggressive here. Bomber Dog really doesn't need to be that aggressive at this point. They do have a man advantage, but there's not a whole lot to be gained. It's only a fort. They are ahead, but playing safe is generally the better way to ensure a win. A nice knock up and stun there, and finally the Corsair's Living Bomb finishes off Johanna. I mean, Johanna is super tanky. Going down like that is not very good. You should basically be able to walk away from that as a Johanna absolutely free. And we're picking up the next DK for Team Banana Bread. Sorry guys, this is a habit I need to get into of zooming out, just because I'm so used to the normal zoom, so I never looked incorrect. So right now, the pressure being applied by Team Banana Bread is just huge. So Flashlight picking up those Frost Mages. I'm not particularly a fan of the Frost Mages. The combination though here with APOC is going to be great, because that'll help keep them in place, and additionally that'll help keep them on Phoenix, so additional damage. Help get those flame strikes out, so forth and so on. Right now, this is a complete beating for Arthritic Abathurs. Team Banana Bread is just showing like it doesn't matter if the team comp looks better, it matters how you execute on that team comp. So pulling up the rest of the talents we have, so we got Battle Momentum for Johanna, Calamity, Nature's Culling, Searing Attacks, and Enduring Growth. Nature's Culling will help push out those lanes. And there's plenty of mercs to use it on, so it should provide good value. Now Abathur, I just want to point out, going full on nest build here, definitely provides a lot of value. Even though it hasn't been seen, it looks like Shiz is going to be in another situation where he's going to be dropping in Belgrim running for his life right now. This is just one death after the other for Arthritic Abathurs. It's definitely not the best situation when you're playing so far behind. We're actually going to see, I don't think I've actually seen this in many matches, 2 talent lead over another team before they hit their heroics. So Team Banana Bread is going to hit their heroics in the meantime. And Johanna is going to be going down here. Batty coming on in and being way back there behind where he should be. Look how much mining Abathur has done. I mean, Doggenstein has done a great job keeping vision. There's pretty much nowhere for them to go. At this point, it's pretty much lights out for them. Shizzo going down here, a huge APOC coming out, and Night being the only one alive. I guess he's going to be saying Night soon to his core at this rate. Fatty going on in though, but he did pop his Iron Skin, but I don't believe this is going to be enough. He's getting rooted and down he goes. This has just been one heck of a beatdown coming out from Team Banana Bread. So honestly, I do not believe we're going to see any way for them to win. They're going to have to get a full-on team wipe. Corsair, though, getting really aggressive and staying there, overstaying his welcome. I have bad news for you, Corsair. This ain't no hotel, motel, Holiday Inn. So Doggenstein using that body to go and grab the bottom shrine, which is going to be the third DK for Team Banana Bread. It doesn't really matter that Corsair essentially died for no good reason there. What matters is that they continue to control those lanes by how far it was pushed out. They basically could go and do whatever they wanted. This is one of those scenarios where if you've ever been in a match and you just completely wipe the other team and you're behind and you start wondering, why aren't we accomplishing anything? It's because you won't actually achieve anything because you're going to try to push out those lanes. You're never going to push out those lanes fast enough by the time they respawn until significantly later in the game. So Team Banana Bread going in for that kill. We got the ultimate Evo coming out, but this is probably not going to be enough. I mean, Bomber Dog full health, Flashlight in that DK just smacking that bad boy. It's already down to 50%. This is going to be lights out for Arthritic Abathurs. I guess that's what happens at old age. Sometimes it's hard to win games when you're an Arthritic Abathur. Good game to Team Banana Bread. That was absolutely great execution on their part. So we're going to look over some of those talent choices that we saw. For one, for one, this was absolutely positively the worst choice you can make as a Johanna on a map that is super focused on rotations. To be honest, though, I don't think Arthritic Abathurs are quite up to speed of what the meta is on this map. They haven't either played it enough or don't watch enough Chair League because you really want to be able to push those lanes, rotate from mid to bottom, back and forth, forever and ever. And so you just keep doing that. And when you find a place to pull someone out or gank someone, or when you see the opportunity, you can do so. Now, if you don't see the opportunity, you just run back and forth. I mean, it's pretty simple here. Lunara is an interesting choice because Lunara normally can go and run away. But with the Zul pick, Zul basically roots her. It doesn't matter that she gets a little bit further away thanks to her 20%. When she's rooted, she's squishy and goes down really fast. Because if you take a look at their comp, it's as squishy as you can get. Li Ming, one of the squishiest. Lunara, super squishy. Vala, she's a little more survivable, but not much more. So you have a team with only one person who can sit in the front line. Everyone else has to run for their lives if someone comes and dives in and onto them. The combination of Zul and Diablo basically allows them to do very, very aggressive dives, because when Diablo comes in, stuns and flips, and Zul tosses down his root will go off, not faster, but it'll go off before they get very far at that point, thanks to the combination of the stun from the charge and the actual flip. And so basically you'll get very, very good timings because you really won't get any overlap on those stuns, which is, the dream. Absolutely zero overlap on your stuns to maximize their effectiveness and duration. So Lunara runs away, but Diablo charges in, grabs her, flips her, she's now rooted, and then Kel'Thas gets a super easy gravity lapse. In fact, let's take a look at this. He picked up Netherwind, so he had extra range on it, and he picked up Gravity Crush. So the combination of very, very easy setup for Kel'Thas then allowed him to drop damage onto whoever, and at that point, Malfurion isn't going to heal someone up through that burst. I mean, Malfurion, you have to immediately, if you see someone about to get ganked like that, you have to drop that heal and hope the hop portion will tick enough to keep them alive once the gank comes out. But they still have Tyrande, who just basically drops a hunter's mark on that target, and at that point, there's not a whole lot they can do. So going over the rest of them, we'll see Disintegrate having been picked up, Calamity, Dominance, Astral Presence. Nothing really too crazy. I don't think Astral Presence is very popular anymore for a variety of reasons. One, you have to be fairly low in the mana to actually get much of a use for it. And then there's some other interesting talents that can allow you to do other things, such as, for one, once you get Calamity, you can use that in combination with like Astral Walker, or I believe that's the talent name. You can use that to help lane clear, and then all of a sudden Li Ming on a very rotation heavy, lane clear heavy map is now helping clear those lanes as well. We saw the natural perspective picked up. To be honest, I don't feel like Lunara has very solid level 1 talents. They're all kind of like a poop shoot. You're damned if you do on any of them. And then you have talent level 4, which obviously it's the Wisp. The Wisp has no real game-changing impact in terms of like fights. You'll be able to avoid a fight. You might be able to even take a fight, but you will never win a fight in actual just straight fighting due to the Wisp. And then finally, Nature's Calling. This helps with the lane pushing, and then she finally did pick up Thornwood Vine. It was too little, too late at that point. And finally, from Vala, we did see Rancor, Manticore, Searing Attacks, and Rain of Vengeance. There's nothing crazy here. It would have probably been a little more beneficial, actually, on this map to potentially go with a multi-shot build. Not that it necessarily is any better or any worse. So the multi-shot build is pretty much what you'd expect, in that it would help him lane clear. But to be fair, this match didn't go very far. I don't believe ultimately the choices of talents lost them. And the only thing that could have potentially lost them the match actually is Reinforce. The reason I say this could have been the one talent that actually lost them the match was because of the fact that they lost significant lane clear, even though their rotations were not proper. And so finally, we got perfectly fine build coming out from Malfurion, but there's nothing he can really do against a gank comp. Malfurion, in retrospect, was kind of like a steal to prevent Malfurion, but they didn't actually need Malfurion. They only had one spot left on Team Banana Bread, and you could assume they were going to pick up a tank. So finally, for strat, we're going to see pretty much just a full Owl Pierce, just so even more heals, more stuns, more damage. And so finally, we have, I don't know what the go-to for Kel'Thas, but I don't think a lot of people are picking up Netherwind and Gravity Crush. But that doesn't mean this is a bad build. Kel'Thas has more variety, I'd say. Finally, we got Shade, Jailers, Rathma's Blessing, Skeletal Mages, and Corpse Explosion. I'm not too big of a fan of it, but it worked. I mean, you can't fault something that wins. And then finally, Abathur just went full nest, aside from Soma Transference, but I think it was kind of like a situation where it didn't matter what they choose at 13, they were just winning. Finally, for Bomber Dog, we have a pretty standard looking Diablo build, nothing out of the ordinary here.